Today's episode of The Read Pile is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
I'm Elle, and I'm actually really tired.
And I am the Sussman, Rick Sussman, and I am ready for action. Do it! Oh, and you are watching The Read Pile.
It's the week of July 1st, and here's some comic book news you can use.
Comic book news. You know what? We've been gone for a week. We took a vacation. What did you do for your Read Pile vacation, Elle?
I didn't read comics. I had to catch up.
And I played Hearthstone. Both of us really went above and beyond on our vacation. Oh, I attended the Tough Enough taping. That was fun. That was,
Okay.
Lego produced a Batman thing. I told you I didn't have any news. You know what?
Well, here's this.
Oh.
Okay, because you're getting boring. So, here's the thing. Jennifer Gardner.
Oh, this really? You really want to talk? This isn't even comic book news.
It kind of is. He's gonna be Batman.
All right. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner are getting a divorce, and somehow
She's on my team now. Because we both say he sucks.
that's it. No. You get 30 seconds. Go ahead.
I don't need to say much more. He lost his wife. Because he sucks.
Buster even disagrees. Are you hearing this? You hear?
No, Buster is screaming because he's like, yeah! He's like, yeah!
Alright, I give up. We have too many comics to review this week anyway. Let's go.
Time for comic book reviews. So, this week includes last week's books and this week's books. Thankfully, last week was so short, I only had 2 books. I will start with those 2. So, first up, Grayson. So, we are already on issue 9. So, here's the thing. Pretty much, Spiral is kind of taken care of, essentially. But it looks like there is somebody new in charge. So we already know. And Grayson's trying to figure out, is it time to go back home? He is unable to get a hold of this dude. So he's like, I don't know what's going on. So he's kind of stuck there for right now. And now we got this whole issue of somebody trying to take care of and assassinate all of the spies. I like the book. I like the idea of, we got a story, we're gonna keep Grayson going. But I was okay with being done at the last issue. I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading it. We'll see. Next up, from last week, Sons of the Devil. So, we're still just getting into this. This is issue 2. We were introduced to this guy, Travis, and we're like, hey, okay, so there's this weird thing. Apparently, he is the chosen one. He's got this 2-color eyes thing going on, and there's possibility of finding his father or somebody that's related to him in some way. And that's where we were left on the last issue, the first one. And so now we're continuing with the story, and apparently he's trying to move on, like it's just kind of jumped forward a little bit, and he's trying to move on from what happened, and his friend that had gotten killed, that was trying to find out his birth parents and find out more about him, had gotten killed, and so it seems a little slow in a storyline, but it's still intriguing. I still want to know what's going on. There's something going on. You want to know, who is it that is trying to find him? Who is this other guy that has the 2-colored eyes just like him? Is he related to him? The title of the story, Sons of the Devil. Obviously, there's something big going on that we need to know. just kind of waiting for things to pick up a little quicker. So I will keep you on my pile, but I need to get going. So on to this week's read pile. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Love it. It's always lighthearted and fun to read and fantastic. And she's got her group of friends that turn out to be superheroes too. And so it's kooky fun. And I think the best part was when Squirrel Girl and her pals decided to go to the Avengers Tower, and she proceeds to beat them all up. And yeah, it really happens. It's pretty funny. So they have to figure out what is going on with this crazy little squirrel thing that's going around and making everybody fight. And so it's quite entertaining, it's lighthearted, and it definitely continues to be a fun read. Now, Outcast. Oh, issue 10. It continues to be this problem I have with this book, and you start to learn little things by the time you get to the end of the book, and you're like, oh, but I kind of want to know what's going on. So poor Kyle, he's really starting to learn what it is that he can do for these people that are possessed by whatever this is. And in the last issue, we were left with where they were able to help this one girl, and whatever demon spirit, whatever it is that's going on inside these people, had been released, and she is pretty much just left just kind of dead inside, and she's just catatonic, and she's in the hospital, and you know, he's feeling really bad about it. He's frustrated. He's still trying to figure out, is this really the best way to help people? And you feel for the guy, but I want to move forward. I want to get going. I want to have the conflict. Whatever's going to happen, let's get going. I don't know. I know it makes for a good story, and you want it to be extended. That's what's going to give you more issues. But I want conflict. I want more conflict, more direct, and to get more answers a little quicker. Next up, Batmite. Oh, Batmite. Also, issue 2. So, this also continues to be just some fun read. Nothing too serious. You can't be serious with Batmite. It's Batmite. If you know Batmite, you don't really expect some great storyline. It's just supposed to be fun. And I don't know, if you haven't read it yet, I think you really should. The last issue basically had left with Hawkman was captured, and some crazy villain girl, decided, I'm going to switch brains with you because I'm getting old and I don't like this body, and I'm going to switch minds with you. So we pick up back up from that, and you feel so bad for Batmite because, I'm sorry, this might spoil things, but it doesn't really spoil things too much. It's Batmite. And it's kind of an ongoing thing. When he actually does good and helps, he kind of gets screwed over and gets overlooked. So you really feel bad for him because he's really annoying and you really want to hate him, but then you feel really bad for him, and no, Batmite. Poor thing. Alright, moving on. Pick of the week. Okay, I have my reasons for this being the pick of the week, and you're gonna have to hear me out. Help us, Great Warrior. We are on issue 5. Yes, I know. I have said this book is, it's boom. You know, a lot of these stories, they're not great, big, in-depth, like just emotionally tied stories. It's for kids, I think, but I mean, it's fun. I like it. And with this particular storyline, you pretty much, we've already found out that her mom is the demon that wants to come in and just kill everybody. And she's like, alright, so here's the plan. this is what we're gonna do. Now we're stepping up. Now we're gonna take control and gonna be this great warrior. So with the laid back attitude, of course, which I just absolutely love. And she's like, here, this is what we gotta do. And I know what we gotta do. She takes control, and things kind of go the wrong way, and it's pretty hilarious. And just the response on the last page, I just comic up in the air, but for good reasons. And I didn't really throw the comic book in there because, you know, I wouldn't do that, because I actually like this book. Other ones, I might. And just speaking of, I do want to throw this in. This is kind of a in your face kind of thing. I do want to point this out. In the back of the DC one comics right now, you can read all about, are you ready for Brendan Fletcher and Annie Wu and the whole Black Canary thing. And this whole thing kind of pisses me off, and I just want to once again say, I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher, but you are on the list with Kevin Smith, and I can't stand either one of you, and you just destroy everything you touch, and I don't like you, either of you, and that's it. I'm going to end with that, and I'm going to move along so Rick maybe say something more intelligent.
The views of the Angry Nerdgirl L are not necessarily the views of all of Nerd Up Media, and certainly not all of those here at the Read Pile.
I've heard your rants off camera.
So, on my Read Pile this week, I only have this week's books, because I did, tweet reads, tweet piles, tweet views, twoos. Anyway, so we have just this week's Read Pile for just me. And it begins with a bit of a sad note, but a good note. Let us start with Satellite Sam. This is issue 15, and this is the end. And that's fine. I really liked this book. I've liked all of it. It's been my pick of the week a couple of times. Of course, it gave us the hilarious Tijuana Bible special edition, and a number of other really good moments. I am a huge fan of Howard Chaykin art, even though I realize that I am one of the very few who is, but I just think he understands how to draw like humans really well. Matt Fraction and Howard Chaykin wrote a really cool story that was mostly in black and white until the main characters find themselves in Hollywood, and then the book becomes color, which I thought was really cool, because you spend the entirety of the book in black and white, and then when they finally get out to Hollywood, this is a story all about how television went essentially from New York to LA, and when they finally get to LA and Hollywood in general, the book becomes color. I thought that was a really cool, like, little moment, and I'll miss that book. It was a good 15-issue arc, much like Alex and Ada. Just because a book ends doesn't mean it's a bad ending or anything like that. It just means that it's over for now, and that was awesome, so I appreciate that. Next up, we have Uber! Uber number 26. This is the nearly penultimate edition of the first arc. This is the first arc. 28-issue arc. See that? Even the Sky Gods agree that that's a bit long. But you know what? It's been awesome. It's truly been fantastic. I compare reading Uber to dealing with depression. Every second of every day of every moment, somebody who has depression could be blindsided by something terrible. They could be going about their business and thinking everything is fine, and then out of nowhere, you're sad. When you read Uber, that's kind of what happens. You're reading it, you're like, man, this is going really well for the Allied. Leah, she's one of our main characters. Things are going really well. She's coming into her own. Everything's working. Oh, never mind. Forget it. Now I just want to go eat cake. And that's what happens. And every single issue of Uber is you're reading along, you're like, oh man, stubbed my toe. Now my life's meaningless. Oh, it's sad. I don't know why I keep reading this book, except the fact that it's really well written, and it's really drawn beautifully, just whoever's doing the artwork. But every time I read it, I get my hopes all up, and I'm like, yeah, it's finally gonna happen. But you know what? It's a great writing, because this is a war book. And in war, there are no heroes, there are no winners, there's no losers, there's war. And that's sort of the beauty of the book, is that it's written from a perspective of, this is neither good nor bad, this is just what happened. And if each arc is going to be 30-some-odd books long, I guess I can get around that. I can be good with that. Next up on what was essentially the Kieran Gillen Express this week, we have Wicked and Divine. And this is issue 12. So if you haven't figured it out by now, and you should have, our main character, who we thought was the main character, Laura, is dead. She died the end of last issue, which is why there was a lot of screaming into the camera at the end of the review of issue 11. And issue 12 is sort of the gods picking up in that same vein. We also lost our main character, the Prince analog, whose name is, I want to say, Inyana, but that may be being mispronounced. And we're seeing the gods are starting to revolt. They're starting to wonder what has happened. The gods are thundering. I love all the special effects this week. My sound effects. Thank you, sound effects god. That's wonderful. But the gods are starting to wonder what has come about. Why is this happening? Why are these things occurring the way they are? And they're starting to notice that, very literally, things are rotten in the state of Denmark. And more than one god is being affected by this. So I'm excited to see where that storyline's going. I want both of these to be my pick of the week. I really do. I love them both equally. But I will give the nod to that one. So let's review Chew number 50. Let me just do this real quick, because you can see both sides. How cool is that? You see, Tony is coming up on the vampire, the collector. There are very few times in the history of Chew where the book has essentially been one long brawl between two characters. And what happens between the collector and Chew is just that. It's just a straight brawl. And honestly, Uber had a very similar just straight brawl issue. It was a week of just straight brawling, yo. I wanted this to be my pick of the week because we finally get to see Tony really cut loose. But the ending of this book just hurt so much. And also the book is really starting to hammer home the fact to the reader that we're running out of time. Both the characters seem to realize it, and of course the notes in the back of the book let you know that I believe there's only 10 issues left and that's it for the story. Now that's fine, but because it was not... the ending was foregone, because you know what happens when you read the book. You've already been told little chunks of things are already come to pass. It doesn't take away from the story at all, but it did it did pull me a little bit out of the story, knowing that I know Tony was going to survive. The real true ending, not the special ending though, man, that was rough. And I'm interested to see how that plays out. So, that brings us finally, after a very long review, I know, to our pick of the week. So let's get the graphic queued up. Thank you, graphic. And it's Midnighter. Midnighter number 2. Oh, Midnighter. Okay. I mentioned in the first review how I thought Steve Orlando was really figuring this out, and by God, he sure really is. This book is perfect for me. This is what I want. I want Midnighter to be an unstoppable badass. I want him to fight bizarre analogs of other superheroes. We're seeing almost G.I. Joe-ian kind of situations here. We're seeing little hints of Wayward even being sprinkled in, be it advertent or inadvertent. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I want more of this story. There's nothing more exciting to me than watching this ridiculous badass go around and beating the hell out of all these villains, and not necessarily the villains that you think, but the true villains. And then, of course, we have the backup story towards the end about Apollo and Midnighter and how they break up, and how Midnighter even knows that fight is something that he has already scripted and already knows. We've all had breakup fights, but not all of us can accurately predict exactly how the breakup fight is going to end, and know that no matter what you do, you can't stop it. And that's sort of like the tragic beauty of Midnighter, and that is definitely why it's my pick of the week. For you, our loyal followers of The Read Pile, we have an awesome offer from Audible.com. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their awesome service. You can download some really great books like The Hobbit, the unabridged version from Tolkien. You can download Divergent, Lean In, lots of great stuff to check out. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia for your free audiobook.
That's this week for the Read Pile. Got anything else to say? I want to go to sleep with a donut in my mouth.
You want to go to sleep with a donut in your mouth?
Sweet dreams.
Oh, so you'll have sweet dreams. Okay, well,
And then I'll have ants.
I I actually had somebody.
Buster.
I had something to say here. Now I've completely. You know what? That's good. That's good enough. Sweet dreams, friends, and watch out for ants. And we'll see you next week. We're gonna get ants. I just know we're gonna get ants. Al. Al. We're gonna get ants.